you don't, and it's like, and then you don't, and then you don't, and then you don't, and it's like,
It's
okay,
like,
but at what point do I do? Like, at what
Yeah.
point am I allowed to partake in anything? I can't shop at this clothing brand. I can't drive this certain car. I can't drink these things. I can't eat this food. Like, at some point, and then like the first time I pull like water out of the tap, somebody's like, well, you don't care about the rainforest now. It's like, I did the 50 other things.
There's no
like where
feeding
do
the
I, and so then you get done with all this and you're like, I just want to play a game. And they're like, well, did you know one of their employees did something awful to another employee? And you're like,
I can't keep up.
Can I just play a game?
I just wanted to relax.
Like everything has to be a cause now because we have so much information. And when we were originally like a tribal entity and we would have lived in groups of 20, if somebody did something awful, somebody that was against the collective morality, we would have ostracized that person and they would have not been able to have access to food or medicine or safety or reproduction. Like, they would have been isolated. And so society said, even if you have an awful thought, keep it to yourself because you want to stay in the group. And then the internet came and there was anonymity. And now you don't have to follow any of those rules. So we got to just let all of our inner ostracizable person come out to play. And some were more intense than others. And you found a group that aligned with you and you're like, hey, you have an awful thought. I have that same awful thought. It's probably not awful then because we share it. And now we're starting to see cancel culture go, okay, but now we're back to the collective village. We can cancel people again, just like we could when we were a group of 20. But now that's gotten to the point where it's like, I can't, but can we stop Microsoft? But then what? I have to go to Sony, who can come out and say, like, don't you love console generations? Like, well, then I guess I can't buy that. So then you have to go to Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo has a perfect record with everything. So where do I just play games? Like, which gaming platform am I allowed to just like the game?
That's where you just turn off social media and go, that's enough internet for today.
I'll Google it on my child labor phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I still think that's the best strategy is just setting limits on yourself, especially as it relates to social media and information, because we can get easily so much news and information that it's just like, okay, like I can't even process this emotionally. And then if it's especially ruining your day, which we've seen, new studies show, like if you consume like 3 hours or more social media, like the risk of mental health issues popping up in you is just going up extremely high. And it's just like, all right, let's all just take a break. Or all like, but the only real answer to that is you're going to have to self-regulate. And so if you guys are struggling, if everything looks bleak, just step away, delete the app off the phone. Or set the phone somewhere where you don't need it. You'll feel that it's like a drug. It's like you'll feel that pull.
Oh, they've probed our brains to find out what is the thing they can give us that we literally cannot avoid.
Yeah. To that point, I mean, I found great benefit in disabling notifications for most all social media. I don't have any of that. And then focus modes, like on the iPhone. Like if it's work time, I can't even see the icons for half of these apps, so I don't even think about it. Which is super helpful for the self-regulating side. I guess to kind of bring us back to the Game Pass discussion real quick, because we got real dark there.
Sorry. I was trying to get caught up for the show because last week we just talked about 14 the whole time. I'm like, let me go get a feel for the news. And then then I just had every search term I was doing to prep for the show had news in it, which meant that I was just like hooked a garden hose of just gross to my face for the last 3 hours prepping for this morning.
Oof.
It's like, I hate the world.
But it's easy to do. But back to Game Pass. I remember a few was it last year? It was a few months ago. They were trialing a family plan for Game Pass in like Brazil. And I think that would have been a better sell. Just telling me that I can like get like 5 accounts on a family plan, or whatever, and that I would have paid whatever the increase is, because that's the family plan for the Switch is what I pay for.
I pay for the family plan on Switch too. 100%.
My daughter and my wife all have individual Switches that we each own and play on. So the family plan was like a no-brainer there. And then I know that there are people that I may or may not be one of those people who have friends who are willing to jump on those accounts.
I have a question.
And be a part of that.
If your daughter decides that she wants to age in a linear fashion and one day becomes an 18-year-old adult, is she allowed to separate her account off?
Well, I mean, because I'm a responsible parent and I have parental controls in place, it should like open up to her automatically. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know all the details on the Switch side, but I can remove her from the family account if I want to.
I would like it to be like Duolingo.
Automatic.
Like Duolingo, I think is great. What you end up is everybody has their own base account, and then I can upgrade my account and up to, you know, let's say in your example, 4 others. And so I can just send Brian a link, and Brian, you pay for standard. You don't get Halo Day and Date because Microsoft said screw you, but don't worry, it's on me. I pay the $25, you pay the 10, and I can just piggyback you off of me. I think that's a much more ethical interpretation of this, because I think the frustration with like family accounts is like the Netflix is like, well, we didn't mean roommates, and it's like, okay, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, we all live in the same. So like, I think that's a much more like everybody's a user. You all have to be linked to each other forever, but like,
and also, what do you like? I know it sounds stupid, but like, for some people, their friends are family. Like, to them, that is the exact same term because they're closer to their friends than they are their family.
And Netflix use specific terms like live in the same household or live in the same address or things like that, which could mean, you know, if you and some buddies in an apartment building all want to go in on a family, you know, Spotify plan. Well, I mean, technically you're the same address. I don't know how that, you know, down to that granular detail. Is that ethically wrong? Maybe, probably. But we can't be the only
for gaming.
Yeah.
Like, I play games with my friends from college. I don't typically play games with my wife. So for the purpose of gaming, they are much more related to my gaming consumption than she is.
That was something that Microsoft back during the botched Xbox One launch, when they were talking about digital game sharing and all of that, that was something that they had talked about doing, which was allowing you and a group of friends to share certain licenses. But everybody got all, and to be fair, it was justifiable anger, but they got so angry that they missed some of the finer details of things that Microsoft could be doing now. But I just don't, I think they're so lost in their own sauce right now.
We lost SimCity as a franchise during all that mess.
Yeah. You know, that was like some of the most
war there.
That was like the appealing side of the digital only, you know, approach that Microsoft was trying to push on everybody at that time. Was, well, if I can still share, because right now, like at my home Xbox, as it were, my daughter can log in on her own Xbox account and access all the Game Pass games that I have access to and all the services, just locked behind her own account and her own parental controls. But she's, you know, I don't have to buy her own account, you know. It's just
cool.
I think if they went ahead and just went and implemented that family plan, right, then it's a lot more appealing to share Game Pass access, you know.
I'm with you 100%. I've been like, can we get a family plan? Because I have Ultimate. Well, we know it exists, but they're still, I guess, trying to figure it all out. Because you're 100% right. I have the Switch family plan because that is obviously with the family makes so much sense. It pays for it, you know, it covers itself, and we're not sitting here worried about it. Now, I do not have their expansion pass and all of that. That in and of itself, I thought that was just like extra annoyance. Like, either just increase the price. I get it. You know, I'm just like, all right, I don't want to add on for especially for classic games when I'd rather just, you know, buy them or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's a really good point. Thank y'all. Thank you for bringing that up, especially about the family plan. Because like I immediately go to World of Warcraft, because being that I see that it is on GeForce Now is just such a really good value to me as a consumer. You know, and I'm still waiting. Yeah, because Chili brings up some really good points. You can't play the Sony games that are on Steam on GeForce Now, so there's clearly you know, some kind of licensing deal behind the scenes, and or Sony wants to make sure that they push people into the cloud streaming, because I hear rumors that the PlayStation 5 cloud will be soon accessible from PC. You know, if that hasn't already happened, which is going to be a huge value add to Sony to be able to sell obviously their games on that service as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know Sony, also their cloud, when we start talking about them versus Microsoft, their cloud outperforms the X Cloud that is currently there, because you cannot play your games that you own on xCloud. It's only through what is in Game
that's another
Pass.
thing. That's like a whole
It's so
other
frustrating.
argument. That's like, where is that? Because why wasn't that day and date xCloud's like beta launch?
Right.
You know, I don't understand. There's some business decision keeping that from happening, but I cannot imagine a technical reason that those games,
by the way,
don't run.
Technical reason, but the legal reason is more of the issue. Like, but you can play your PlayStation games on PC, your cloud games.
And you can connect right. Cloud. You can connect right into kind of your PS5 in the cloud, as not connecting to a physical PS5, but they added that because I know that they were working on it.
I
think you can, like, I haven't downloaded it. I just see the app where it says you could download the PlayStation Plus on your app and how to start streaming PlayStation Plus games on your PC.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that then, because I know that they were working on it, but I was like, I hadn't heard whether there was like, kind of a full announcement launch or something like that. But that's for me what I'm that's gonna be valuable to me. And when they update the PS Portal to be able to connect into that cloud server as well, not just stream to your local, like I was like, let's freaking go.
Get that thing from being a single-use device. I would like. The Portal could be a better sell if it launched with cloud gaming of some kind.
I'm more sold on the Portal than any other device if it was a cloud-based. I know people don't like cloud-based systems, but I much prefer the idea of a cloud-based handheld than anything like the Steam or any Steam handheld, just because those will always have a hard limit on how long they will last.
Yep.
At least with cloud-based gaming, once you purchase that device, technically it should be able to, like, if I bought the cloud now, the PS Cloud now, and it supported like the PS Portal now, and it supported cloud gaming. Technically, when the PS6 comes out and they start doing PS6 cloud gaming, it should still run it.
The biggest technical limitation of a cloud only handheld is if the Wi-Fi standards update, or you want a better display, like there's a better technology for displays that come out, or better batteries, and then you're not limited by CPU power, or not to some degree CPU and GPU power, because you still have to be able to stream it and everything. But I like the longer term, longer device lifespan potential. It's just I don't.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think
outside of the device getting dropped by your kids, which that's happened to me. Outside of that physical reality, it just extends the life of the device.
Yeah,
and the life of the battery.
I was gonna say, and the actual battery life. Like, eventually you might have to upgrade because the battery life degrades over cycles. Like, once you've reached so many cycles, it's basically, it's basically unusable then. So eventually you will have to upgrade. I'm not saying that you won't ever have to upgrade, but your ability to have to upgrade will be lessened.
I don't know if anybody, like, I run into a problem now where I forget to charge for weeks, and then when I go to sit down, it's like, oh yeah, I haven't plugged this in but I've been playing it. But it will last me over the course of a week or two before I'm like, oh yeah, I need to plug that in, because of the battery actually finally drained on it. And it's absolutely incredible. Now, let's pivot into, I know we were going to talk, maybe we'll talk about Throne and Liberty next week, but as we're getting closer to the end of the show, I do want to talk about No Man's Sky and Light No Fire with you guys, because last year at the Game Awards, Sean Murray announced Light No Fire as the first true open world game. And they show it off. It's a planet size. So you think, No Man's Sky, all of these quadrillions of planets that you can travel and explore.